All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, and welcome to Let's Get Crystal Clear. We are talking all about Married at First Sight. I am your host for today's conversation, Christal XO, and I am excited. We are on episode 3 of Married at First Sight. Episode 3 of Married at First Sight. So if you have not watched this episode and you're going to be upset about spoilers, then you may want to tune out because there's definitely going to be spoilers from the first 3 episodes in tonight's conversation. All right, so we've talked about most of the couples. There was one final couple that got married tonight. Well, in episode 3, and so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to really focus on. There's already social media conversation about Nikki and Shawn. And so I want to get into Nikki and Shawn. But first, I want to get through, because that's where we're going to spend the bulk of tonight's conversation. I really love when the audience chimes in. So I'm asking you guys to please, if you're here, if you have watched the shows, chime in. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. All of that good stuff. It's welcome here. It makes it a better discussion when we do this live. That's why I do these live, so we can have the interaction. But of course, if you're watching on the replay, feel free to chime in as well. I will say I've told you guys, I'm extremely happy with the experts this season. Dr. Lisa Paz and also Paul Brunson, I think, are great. It's not that I didn't like Dr. Pepper. Well, I didn't dislike Dr. Pepper. I just thought it was time for her to move on. It was just time. She wasn't giving us what we needed. It wasn't giving. Even Pastor Cal, it just was not giving. I think we definitely needed these new experts with a fresh take. I'm sorry, my microphone is tripping today. With a fresh take on the show and just a fresh take on relationships. I think we needed some experts that were able to come in and actually hold people accountable, because that is not what had been happening for the last 10 to 12 to 15 seasons. People were not held accountable at all. So I like this. I think that these experts give the show a new vibrant energy. I really like Paul. I think that he is great for TV. He's great on the eyes. He's great with the common sense and just really being direct and getting to the point and not beating around the bush. I think as the episodes go on, we'll be able to see if he's really going to hold people accountable. If he really has the ability to do that in a different way than we've seen Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper do it. I think even the interaction between Paul and Lisa, it just feels like they're a lot more on top of the situation, right? So anyway, I wanted to get that out of the way before we get into tonight's conversation. The last couple to get married tonight, and I need to make sure that I have Caitlin's photo. I was doing all this running around. Let me see. Do I have? Yes. Okay. All right. Last couple to get married was Caitlin and Devin. And I also like this couple. I really like this couple as well. You guys know I liked Michelle and Cameron. They kind of had, I don't know if I liked them as much on episode 3 as I did on episode 2. But we'll get into that in a minute. But Devin is, first of all, he is the, those professional athlete, comes with the setup that most women are dreaming of. But he also seems, I hate to say this because it sounds so corny to say down to earth, right? It sounds corny to say that someone is down to earth when, down to earth is something that everybody should be, like, because relationships, you can't be fake and phony and over the top in a relationship. So ideally, everybody would be down to earth, right? But some people are not. But he does seem very grounded. Maybe that sounds better. Not so used. He seems very grounded. He talked about his family a lot. One of the things that I think stood out to me about Devin's conversation before he met Courtney is that he grew up in a home with a father that left, right? So it was just him and his mom and his grandmother. He was around the women. So I think that usually when a guy is in that space, usually they're going to do one of two things, right? They're either going to go full, give everything they have to not repeating what their father did, or they're going to do exactly what their father did and they're going to leave. It's crazy because a lot of times people are like, oh, how could someone leave if they grew up in a family where the father left? Well, unfortunately, in a family where the father left, the boy doesn't always get a chance to see what that looks like. He doesn't understand. He didn't get a chance to see what it looks like when a father stays. So a lot of times people repeat the same things that hurt them when they were younger. But he seems very self-aware of that issue, and talks very much about wanting to, do things different in his own life. It was interesting to hear him say, even being a professional athlete, he plays rugby. If anybody is not watching or did not hear that, he is a professional rugby player. And I don't really know what those salaries are like. Let me look them up real fast in case, inquiring minds want to know. We may need to know exactly what does that look like. Because I know like football can run the gamut, basketball can run the gamut, baseball is really well. I don't really know. I've never even been tempted to wonder what a professional rugby player would make. So let's check that out just so I can give you guys the information. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all the information so we have the context with which to do this. Professional rugby player. Yes. What does a professional rugby player earn? And AI is telling us that the average salary for a professional rugby player ranges between $80,000 and $250,000. So ideally, he barely has enough to date Nikki. He may have enough to date Courtney. He seems to like her a lot. She seems to like him a lot. But yeah, that's not a lot. The rugby players don't make as much. And one of the things that we do know about rugby is that it's a very, very physical. It's probably even a little bit more physical than football. So for that 250,000, you're gonna earn every penny of that. Your body is going to have those the consequences and after effects of that. So that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, he mentioned that he really wanted to be a husband. He wanted a wife before he turned 30, and I thought that was interesting. I think that speaks to how he grew up, because I know a lot of professional football players, and I don't know many of them that were trying to have a wife before 30. In fact, they may have been trying to get around that by any means necessary. So the fact that Devin wants to get married and said that was something that he was really, really looking forward to and wanted to be a part of a partnership. I always think it's easier to be with a man who prioritizes a relationship and sees that as something that he wants to do. You guys, for those of you that watch the show with Scorpio Mo and I, Dating Diaries, on Wednesdays and Fridays, Mo speaks a lot about hey, you there said having a wife is like a personal secretary. I don't know. I think he could have a lot of them. Like he done at 28 professional rugby, because even if rugby doesn't make a lot, say he makes the most, which I doubt, but it looks like the most would be 250,000. Like that would be the maximum. That would probably be for the franchise rugby players, right? But women like professional athletes. They look for that. So I can't see him. I mean, he could have a secretary, he could have an assistant, he could have multiple. In fact, that's usually what comes with the professional athlete package, right? Is multiple women. If you guys notice also, Paul asked him about that. He was like, being a professional athlete, you are moving around a lot. So would a monogamous relationship be difficult for you? And he said that, it would not, so I'm going to just give him the benefit of the doubt. We do know that there are games being played all the time, but the fact that definitely am not saying that he would not, that he would 100% be monogamous. But I am saying that if he actually wants to be married and is, seeking out marriage and feeling like being married is going to be a part of his story that makes him more whole, that is a positive thing. Because Mo talks a lot about how men are always told not to get married. So if you have a man who thinks that he wants to get married, and that to the point where he wants to be married before 30, that is totally different than a lot of athletes are thinking. I would just say his thought process is very different than the average athlete. I don't know a lot of rugby players, but them football players and basketball players are not rushing to the altar before age 30. Now, also, I want to point out that the experts did a great job. If you guys are just tuning in, of course, we are on episode 3 of Married at First Sight. And I think the experts, or the casting agents, directors, did a great job in this case and in most of the cases this season of pairing somebody with a potential spouse that they would be attracted to. He mentioned Sydney Sweeney. She mentioned some really buff athlete as her. Courtney mentioned that as her, her celebrity crush. And so I think they both are really well matched. His celebrity crush literally looks a lot like Courtney, and her celebrity crush actually looked a lot like him. And so I think that's a great thing this season, because we know the couples that are not attracted to each other is going to be it's just difficult, but especially the male, but females as well, as we know. But yeah, they both are super cute. He mentioned that he was hey, Faithful. He mentioned that he was very, very attracted to her. Caitlin, I'm sorry, I'm calling her Courtney. Her name is Caitlin. Caitlin, this is Caitlin, who is with Devin, and Courtney is actually with Nick. I'm sorry. So this is Caitlin, and Devin. I had to get these names down. We're just meeting these people. We just met them. They were the last couple to be paired, and I actually really, really like them a lot. I'm going to vote for them being able to make it to decision day with a possibility, just because he's very, very attracted to her. She's very attracted to him. He really wants to be married. Those are all huge things. Some of the guys this season, I feel like, want to be on TV or want to have validation, but I don't think that Devin needs validation. I think Devin has all the validation he needs. If you guys notice at the wedding, the women on her side were like clapping and like, very, very, really, really attracted to him. You could tell they were very, very happy that their friend would be really happy. So I think with him being very attractive, her being very attractive, and then she's also seemed very easygoing. Caitlin seemed very easygoing, and she didn't take things too seriously. I think that's a huge thing for women. A woman that's uptight or takes herself too seriously is not going to do well on a show like this. Probably is not going to do well, period, in relationships. Because if you take yourself too seriously, and if you are super like serious, and that's not going to fare well for a relationship, specifically on a reality show, because you got to be able to kind of like go with the punches. If you're strict and not flexible, those are just not great qualities for being in a relationship, period. But certainly not on this platform. If you do something like, if you're a person that is not flexible and you are, you like things to be black and white, you definitely should not go on a reality show to get married. It's just like you're setting yourself up for failure and a lot of just being uncomfortable all season. But I like them a lot. Mo says, I don't like her dad. I actually liked Caitlin's dad, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that when you're on a show like this, there are some families, there are some people that come from families. That's a really pretty, it's a very colorful bouquet. I don't know if I like all those leaves at the bottom, but it's very colorful. But you need, I think you need family that are like real people. I like seeing real people. And I think a real father, someone who is very concerned about their daughter, someone who is not swayed or seduced by cameras, like we're going to get into Mecca's dad in just a bit. I think that they wouldn't be, totally cool with this. She said before, she got married, she said that her dad was not, he was very traditional, very old fashioned, and he believed that a man should ask for his daughter's hand in marriage. I am not mad at that. Good for him. Like, I think there are so few parents that are seriously about that life. Like, your kids are your only responsibility to protect. In this world, I have two people that I have been endowed with the responsibility to protect. And so I take that seriously. And I respect other parents that take it seriously also. Now, the dad, so he didn't walk her down the aisle. I think he might have probably regretted that. But him standing up, he's letting Devin know, hey, I know you're here at this wedding, but this belongs to me. This is my little cub, right? And you're taking my cub, and I don't know you. I mean, oh, that's not him. Oh, y'all have to forget. This is Devin. This is Devin, and this is Caitlin. And so Caitlin's dad is telling Devin, hey, you're taking my cub, and I don't know you, but I tell you what, if something happens to my cub, I'm coming for you. I don't like that. And I don't have anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He's very traditional. He's very old school. He ain't really camera ready, but that's not what we require dads to be. I know my husband, if you guys watch this channel, you know, my husband has 5 daughters. Exactly. So he don't play about his. I'm not mad at that. You know, because sometimes, we're watching the show for entertainment. He ain't looking at that show for entertainment. That's his baby, right? So I respect that. My husband has 5 girls. One of his daughters got married, and he didn't get a chance to, actually 2 of them got married, and he did not have a chance to give them away, or even the guys did not necessarily ask for their hand in marriage. The first got married without really letting him know, and then told him later. And I know that really hurt his feelings. You know what I mean? I could tell he was kind of hurt by that. And then the second one got married as well, and he was not in agreement with that. You know what I mean? So we hope everything's going to turn out great for both of them. But I know my husband was not happy about it. And the daughters kind of like, girls are like, oh, dad's going to be fussing and all that. But daughters that have that problem, they're stressed out about it. But those of us who didn't have that, we're like, girl, you should be appreciative that you got somebody that really has your back and that's serious about you. So I'm never going to be mad about a dad standing up for one of his little cubs. I'm not. And he might have been, it might have felt a little annoying to the guests or other people, but you guys got to think this is his daughter, and it's got to be difficult for a dad to watch a daughter go through heartbreak. It has to be. It has to be, because number one, dads know what they did, right? And they have to know they want to keep their daughter from going through that. So I don't know if Caitlin's dad did a lot of heartbreaking. He looks like he may not have, but we know that what looks like and what is can sometimes be 2 different things. So I'm not mad. I liked Caitlin's dad. I think when you compare the fact of Caitlin having her dad, right, and having her dad be very involved, and I love when he stood up and he said that, and she did her little heart thing to him. That dad-daughter thing, when it's right, it's a beautiful thing, right? And so we want to support all the dads. Now, speaking of that, I think we're going to have to just pivot, because dads at weddings, we have to go back to Mecca and Jolie. There's Belle Jolie, the beautiful Belle Jolie, and Mecca. Now, in episode 3, We knew that Mecca's dad was going to be a problem. We knew because of hearing him talk before they even walked down the aisle. His commentary was extremely immature. However, now that we are at the reception, it continues to get worse. I don't know. I know why Married at First Sight let this happen, because they want us to have these conversations that we're having. And so we're going to do it. I'll need to get a picture of him next time. But Mecca, we're going to have to just roll with Mecca for this. The fact that his father is low key peer pressuring him to have sex on the wedding night is ridiculous. Like I said, the fact that Mecca was so upset about the Belle Jolie not kissing him because the dad was like, "Oh, if she gives you the cheek, that's weak. She's not really into you, but you get the tongue. You're on like that. Why is that what a dad is saying? Like, I'll take Caitlin's dad all day over this idiot that we have with Mecca. I all day. Stand up. I'm not I'm not sure about my daughter with you, but I hope this works out. Yes, as opposed to Mecca's dad pulling him to the side and saying, "I know you're going to clap them cheeks on the wedding night, and that I know that you were had a hard on standing up at the altar." Where do they do that at, sir? Where do grooms stand at the altar with hard-ons? Then, if you guys notice, I said this yesterday, and I said, "Girl, we know his dad has a backstory, a whole backstory, and we probably are going to get to know a lot of it this season because he's so freaking inappropriate." But I said yesterday for episode 2 that I felt like his dad was low key attracted to Belle Jolie. So in episode 3 at the reception, we hear the dad saying to the son, "Man, I didn't know I was going to like her and her family so much. You may have to keep her around." It's just the way. It's the way that he says what he's saying. It's the delivery that is cringy and feels extremely inappropriate. Yes, inappropriate and way out of line. Even when he was talking to Belle Jolie, I felt like, and she's just, it's probably going over her head, but his conversation with her, even asking her about was she attracted to his son, like he's all concerned about the physical. He is not concerned about the substance and the found and the fact for the dad to be concerned about the physical is cringy and disgusting. Like you would expect friends to be talking like that. Maybe not even really friends at this point. If your friend is serious about getting married, most guy friends are respectful when it comes to the wife. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? We see Belle Jolie's friend asking her, like, okay, so you're gonna wear booty shorts and not what are you gonna do afterwards? But not pressing her to do it and not saying, "Yeah, I know you about to try to get yours." Like it just, but the friends aren't even saying that. It is, I definitely said cringe. I don't think it's silly. I think it's cringe because you got to think about this. This father is, and he is, the father is, an attractive man, but his attitude makes him so unattractive. The father is standing up with his son, whose biological mother left him, right? And then he talks about his stepmother leaving him as well. So most biological fathers would understand that a son going into a marriage with that type of history could be hard, right? So, like, how does Mecca interact with women? How does his biological mother abandoning him affect him? Not saying he had to get into something that heavy, but we definitely need some type of conversation besides you gonna slap them cheeks. You gonna cup them cheeks. Like that is not what marriage is about. Like, are you ready for this? What do you think? Do you think she's gonna fit your family? I He's just focused on stupidity. And when he said that I'm trying to, I didn't know I was going to like them that much. We have to keep them around. It felt very much about him and not his son. It felt very, very much like he was attracted and interested for himself. Um, yeah, I didn't like it at all. I did not like it. I think that Mecca, we don't see any of that in Mecca. He just seems, and he's kept telling his dad, he was telling his dad that he was not aroused while Belle Jolie was walking down the aisle. It was like, you don't tell the truth. And they're joking about it. But I feel like that's making him feel some pressure because most boys want to impress their dads, right? That's just normal. Most young men grow up wanting to convince their dad that they are the man. And if the dad is constantly pushing sex and kid and all that, like it ain't good. Belle Jolie, I hope she's safe. You know what I mean? I just don't like the dad. I don't like the dad, and it makes me concerned about how that has influenced Mecca. Because think about this. Yes, men probably say some crazy stuff that women don't know they say. I'm sure. But he's saying this on camera. And most have the understanding to where, okay, that's not something that I want to say share publicly. He thinks it's cool. He thinks it's cute. He's joking around like a teenager. It's disgusting. I don't like it. I had to say something about it today. I want Belle Jolie to stay away from that daddy because I don't trust the dad. Um, it just don't feel right. It does not feel right. Um, yeah, the dad has no boundaries at all because think about it. This is the edit. Imagine what was not in the edit. Um, yeah, I agree, Mo Catchings. She said that even the kissing advice from his dad threw him off. So imagine how he feels at the honeymoon. Now, I do, before we move forward, I do think it was funny in the limousine because when they were going to the wedding night, going to the hotel or wherever they're at, she's just talking. Like she's just talking. And he's not talking as much. Again, when they get to the room, she's just talking and he's not talking as much. He's like, well, what are some issues? And she just, I mean, she's kind of a little bit, she's a, I mean, in a sweet, in a goofy, in a sweet way. I think he's goofy in a sweet way, but I think maybe she's a little bit more than him. He seemed like he was kind of tired. I don't know. I don't think he was as into, she was just talking, like super excited. And I get that. Women, when they like a guy a lot, she thinks he's really cute. They talk a lot. And that's what she was doing. But he was definitely seeming like he was kind of tired. Um, the mom and the stepmom left the dad. But if you watched, he made it when he was talking to Paul, he shared the story in a way that let people know that he felt like it was leaving him. He said that his biological mom left him when he was, and honestly, if a mother leaves a child and doesn't come back, yes, you are leaving the dad and the son because she did not come back for him. And then he said when the stepmom left, it really hurt him because not only did she leave, but she took his brother and sister, so he was by himself, and he didn't like that feeling. So he shared some stuff about his past that let us know kind of where he's coming from and what some of his, soft spots could be. And they definitely come from the abandonment and then being left, right? Dad is the problem. Dad is the problem. And I'm like, the mom probably had to run to get away from that man because he's nuts. And I just want to point out one more thing. This is a dad of a 30-something year old or a late 20s, early 30s year old. So this man is at least in his 40s, probably in his mid 40s to 50s. So when women tell me that they don't want to date younger guys because of the maturity level, obviously age is not indicative of maturity because his dad has the conversation of a 18-year-old. And I'm being gracious with 18. I mean, he does not sound like a man who is has grown or experienced anything. And like I said, what worries me about the situation is I am more than certain that the women that he's dating are Beljoli's age as well, because there's no woman that would be 40 plus that would actually be listening to this his conversation. He's cute, but he ain't that cute. He ain't that cute for that conversation. Um, so anyway, I want to move on. I'm trying to think of who else I wanted to. I do want to say really quickly because we want to get into the Shawn and Nikki of it all, but really quickly, I want to say I was impressed with Felipe and Tori just so far, because Felipe, I did not expect him to be able to be normal even this far. Um, I thought their reception moment when he had the cake and they cut the cake together was super cute. And then he says it is tradition, as a Brazilian tradition, to give the piece of cake to and the most important person to you in the room. And he says, I love you, mom. And then he gives the cake to Tori. Oh my God, such a romantic, adorable moment. I loved it. And then even better, because for him to say that she's the most important, and then for her to get the cake and then take it and give it to the mom, I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I'll tell you why. A lot of times you will have a man who puts his wife first. I have seen this happen. Yeah, Felipe is I'm not swayed and thinking that he's normal. I just like that moment. We're going to take this step by step. But yeah, I don't he has a lot of issues, but that moment was great. And I think because you have some men that will put a wife before the mom, and then some women mistreat and abuse that privilege, and they ice the mom out or attempt to drive a wedge between the son and the mom. They don't respect the mom's place, and I think that's disgusting. I think Tori giving the cake to his mom showed that he can tell her, I'm going to put you first. And she can say, thank you, babe. And we're going to put our family first. We're going to prioritize our family. Maybe not first. I come first, you come first, but then we want to prioritize our family. There are a lot of women that do not think like that. And you could just see, I understand it's a piece of cake, but you could see the way her first thoughts were to go to his mom. Also, Felipe said that family was very important to him, and that there would be no way that he could be in a relationship with a woman that would not prioritize family and be close with his family. So I think that Tori's going to do great there. I also think that sometimes when you have, when a person comes from a difficult background, if they marry somebody that has a really loving family and that becomes their family, that can also be very good and very healing, just very good. Like, I think in best cases, when you grow up without, I know, and then you marry somebody that is, you can have family, you can experience family in a very different way than you did growing up, which is great. But I love the fact that she included his mother, and that made the mother feel, connected. It was really, really a cute moment. And I hope that they're going to be okay. I also did notice on the beginning of their wedding night, Felipe is very attracted to Tori. Tori is very attracted to Felipe. I'm interested to see how this works, because even though he is a little eclectic and a lot, she's very attracted to him. And that's why attraction is important, not because it's important for you to have the baddest in the room. I know a lot of people think that's what's important. It's not. But if you're very attracted to somebody, that can buy you some time, and their issues don't seem as big if you look at them and you like what you see, right? It just doesn't seem as the issues can sometimes seem smaller if you're very attracted to the person. We don't know, because the night is not over with episode 3. So I don't know if they made it through the night. She was talking about how hot he was. He was talking about how hot she was. I do not know, but I like them right now. The experts did a great job of matching the two of them. Really quickly, the last couple I want to talk about tonight, besides Shawn and Nikki, is the only couple that did not sleep in the same bed was Marissa and Adam. And although we don't really know why, we know that Marissa said she didn't really feel comfortable. She said she was sleeping on the couch. She did not ask him to, which was her choice, your choice, girl. But she was like, I'm going to go sleep on the couch. I feel, because we know that Marissa is attracted to Adam, and Adam is definitely attracted to Marissa because he tried to hit on her before. If you guys watched, you know that he actually asked her out before. They just never went out. They met each other at a bar maybe 2 years before, and they got each other's number, but he never followed up. Now, I am assuming that Marissa feels like it's starting to feel kind of some of his weird vibes, and that's why she didn't want to sleep in the bed. It could be that she's just kind of prudish, but usually if you're very attracted to somebody, a lot of people sleep in the same bed and are not intimate. But the fact that she was like, I'm sleeping on the couch, I think she feels a little awkward with Adam, as she should, and as she will continue as the months and weeks go on, because Adam, he's got a lot of self-work to do, I think. At least, again, I reserve the right to change my mind on any of this. We're just talking this through. But now let's get to, you know who, Nikki and Shawn. Nikki and Shawn. Now, I want to say, before we get into this, two things can be true. That is the theme for tonight's conversation. Two things can be true. I'm going to start by playing this video, the video of Paul actually talking to Nikki. And so for those of you who didn't see it, we can talk about why she may have ended up in the position that she's in, and why I believe it is her. It is her issue why she's here. But again, yes, two things can be true. Here we go.
Feel like it could grow. Can we turn the heat on?
Yeah.
Behind you, right
can
there.
we? Yes, we can.
I'm cold.
Let me pull this clip really quickly, because I think that when we see this, we just have to take it all in we need all the context. We need all the context of why are we here? Why is we here? Because we are here, and I think if you look at this video, we can kind of understand why I think Nikki should never ever have been on this show. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, put a XO in the chat. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? XO family, can you hear me? Put an XO in the chat if you can. Let me know, let me know, let me know, because I don't want to keep moving on until you guys let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Miss Carla, can you guys hear me? Oh, can you guys? Okay, great. Okay, hey, Mwadi. All right, so let's get into it. So this was the very first, okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know why the sound went out, probably because of the video. But yeah, I want to play this beginning. I don't know why it's not. Okay, I'm gonna play this video and then we're gonna go to the second one. But this one is, I think, how we got where we are today. All right, and now this video. Hold on, let me give you guys the scoop. This video is pulled from another content creator's page, right? And I think the young lady did a great job of explaining her point. I don't necessarily agree with her point, but I understand. And I am the type of person that I appreciate the perspective. I think you have to understand your opponent's view in order to understand your own. So even though I don't agree with her overall, I do understand what she's saying, and I can agree with some points. Clear? Okay. All right, here we go.
250 to 350.
What is the minimum range for your partner?
250.
Do you know what the average salary is in the United States?
Yes, I've heard all the stats.
It's at 64. So at 200, why is that not acceptable? And this is a no judgment, so I'm not going to push back on this. I just want to understand the logic.
She is not the average woman, so why should she accept the average man? Why are Black women the only demographic that is consistently challenged and questioned when we have standards? Even if what we are asking for is what we also bring to the table and what we also align with. This woman makes between $250 and $350 a year, and all she's asking is a man to meet her at her lowest, and yet that is still a problem, and yet you are questioning as to why she can't go lower. Notice how she said her minimum is $250 and he said why not $200, but I promise you if she said $200, he would have asked why not $150. If she said $150, he would have said why not $100. It doesn't matter what your standards are, they're always going to challenge it. Do you think she's in average spaces when she makes that much money? Do you not think she's around other people, colleagues, friends of friends who also work in the same industry as her, who also makes that much money? Maybe because I'm from New York, my perception on money is a bit different, but it is not hard to meet other people who also make six figures. I don't know what this woman does for a living, but the fact that she makes $250 to $350 a year means that she is constantly around people who are equally yoked to her, which means her dating environment is a bit different than the average person, and she doesn't have to worry about the average man. Y'all tell Black women to pick better all the time, and when we try to pick better, you want to beat us down as to why. Why do we think we have the right to ask for what we want? Listen, I don't know who this interviewer is, so I don't know if his line of questioning is being malicious or he's just asking to ask as an interviewer, but I just had to give my 2 cents.
Okay, first of all, I appreciate her perspective as a young woman. And while I agree with certain things, I don't agree with the entire thing. I'm gonna tell you why. So Paul asked her what was her minimum, and she came down to 200, but initially she said 250. She really wants 250 to 350. Now, what's interesting to me is why she said that's what she wants them to make. I would just say 250 and up. I'm just saying, because 250, you don't want to put a cap on it. But anyway, the problem, the reason I disagree with the young lady is because just because a person makes the same amount of money as you does not mean that you're equally yoked. That is not the only way that you find synergy and commonality, right? It is one way by you all having being in similar tax range and having the access to similar things. That is one way, but that is not the only way. And dare I say, it is not the most important thing. So saying that Black women should have standards, but your standards should be the amount of money, to me is not, it just, that doesn't add up. Right. I think that also she said that Nikki, because she's a HR exec, she obviously must be an HR exec for a very big corporate company, right? For her to make that much money as an HR exec. But she said, well, she obviously is in dating spaces that are very different than the average person. So she should be, but as we know, no, there's no different dating space, right? The woman who makes $40,000 a year and the woman who makes $250,000 a year are often in the same dating pool. Trust me, I've been all up in there and through between. It's just all the same pool, right? Now, you may be around different people at work, but if that was working, then she wouldn't be on the show. She would already be married. And we all know statistics show us that often in corporate spaces, there are a disproportionate number of Black men to Black women in those type of positions. We know that. We know that Black women have made great strides and that they are in leadership positions in companies. Obviously, at that level, she is in a leadership position, but often at that level, we don't have our equal significant others, and we don't look across and see Black men at that table. That's the truth. So that's what I feel like. This young lady, I appreciate her saying that Black women shouldn't settle. And you guys know I agree with that 100%. However, money is not the only equal yoker. That's not the way that you're equally yoked. And also a woman at that level is not going to find a lot of men of color. Now, if dating a man of color is important to her, I'm not saying that there aren't men of color at that level, because there are. A lot of them are married. A lot of them are married, right? And some of them are not married to us, but some of them are. I'm not saying that, because there's definitely a lot of men that are married to Black women that are making that type of money, right? Actually, there are more men making that type of money that are married across the board, because women who are single tend to make work their priority. Men tend to make work their priority when they have a family to provide for. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. There are not that many, but that and yes, thank you, Miss Tillman. Men at that level they don't care what their woman makes. Men at any level don't care what the woman makes. And we understand that's the difference between men and women. But this is my problem with Nikki coming on to and she's an educated sister, beautiful sister, coming on to Married at First Sight and requesting a man that makes 250,000 and up and is also 6 feet tall. She and wants to be on TV. Thank you, Mo. Y'all be feeling me, because I'm like, okay, first of all, for a man to be 6 feet tall and make 250 at least, he is not. First of all, he's a unicorn and he's single, right? And he's age appropriate. He's single. He's not gonna be on a dating show, a reality show at that, because I told you guys yesterday when I've been involved in a lot of reality shows, one specifically where my job was to cast men for a dating show. And there are not very many men, period, at that level that want to be on TV, right? Because guess what? Going on a reality show does not always put you in a great light. And that could also damage and put your corporate job at risk. Most people that make that much money are not looking to go on in a corporate world. Now I'm talking about celebrities. I'm talking about real people that are working. A guy who works and is a VP for a IT company and has responsibility at that level of, you are a representative of the company. They care about what you do. They care about your reputation, and you going on a reality show where you don't know what you're going to get into could definitely be a bad look for your business. So that's first of all, there are not very many of them. Second of all, you want one that is 6 feet tall. Now, when she said, I did not do crowd work for Steve Harvey, but I did his show quite a few times with clients. She said that she wanted someone that was 6 feet tall. She wanted to have someone that would make her feel small. However, she did acknowledge that she said that she's more sapiosexual and that she would be open, because sometimes, man's can, you can get there another way. I call BS. Because to me, and I said this yesterday, if you come on this show and you say that the deal breaker is the money, I want the 6 feet, but the 6 feet is not a deal breaker, then you got to know you got them looking for a man that doesn't exist. So you're probably going to get one that doesn't have the one that is the negotiable, right? Because she said she was not open to a man that did not make at least $250,000. So she set herself up. You set yourself up. And also you want him to be open to go on television. To me, it's strange why a woman like Nikki would even come on a show like this, because she doesn't seem very flexible. And she obviously has a very, very, important executive job. This is probably not going to be the best platform for her. Flexible. I think any person that goes on reality TV for actual love. Now, there are a lot of people that go on reality TV that are not looking for love. I actually had an opportunity, and I can't go into it too much because it involves other people. So I had a chance to, when I was younger, I used to watch The Millionaire Matchmaker. You guys remember that show, Patty Stanger? I love Patty. I had an opportunity to go on that show, not as a guest, but with a client. And I had a chance to kind of see how things work behind the scenes. Men that go on that show are so alleged millionaires. A lot of them either want to be in entertainment, or things are not necessarily as they seem. And like I said, I'm not going to go much further than that, because I don't want to, that show did really well. I think, I don't know if she's still streaming or whatever, but it ain't that. So if you're saying I want for sure 250,000, the pool of men for you is limited tremendously. What I think she should have done, if that's the situation, if she's open to dating outside of her race, that could have been an option. That could have been an option. Or just be not as, because if the guy makes, I don't know, but she said she didn't want to go past 250. I don't know if 175 is different or 150. To her, she wanted him to make at least what she makes. So this is where we are. Now, the reason I did not like her energy is because when she got to the altar, she acted like she did not know that Shawn was there for her, right? Shawn is 5'6" and a bit portly, just a wee bit. He's actually not a bad looking guy. I saw a lot of people online saying that he was not attractive and that, they did her wrong. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think he's that bad looking. 6'3" is wild. I mean, 5'6" is kind of wild, but he's not an ugly person. I don't like his suit. I don't know why he picked the doo-doo brown velvet. I don't know why he thought that was not flattering at all. Maybe my TV didn't pick up the color right, but I don't think he's a bad looking guy. He is a small guy. He is a small guy, but he has his doctorate. Okay, Miss Carla, girl, you may have a chance because trust me, she's gonna throw that fish back. She gonna throw that fish back. He has his doctorate and he's also a VP of a university. Very, very intelligent. And it's okay, girl. It's okay. 60, it does not matter. She gonna throw that fish back. Trust that. And there are more men like that. I don't think he's a bad looking guy. I think that she came on wanting this guy that, is probably married somewhere, whoever she wants. And I'm not saying that we should settle and there's not, but for the TV show, understand that that's a big difference. Coming on a TV show and wanting a man to show up 6 feet, great looking, and making that much money is kind of unrealistic. It's not it's unrealistic, right? I'm not saying, yes, you can find what you want, but you also have to realize if what I want is not out there, or more importantly, ma'am, if what I want doesn't want me. Because sometimes what we want, when we prioritize money, then sometimes what we want doesn't want us, because the guys that have the money don't prioritize the money. Do we know that? How come women haven't figured that out? The guys that have the money don't prioritize the money. So they don't care how much money a woman makes. In fact, they probably want a woman that doesn't make as much as them so that they can be in a situation where they are the focal point, or their job is the focal point. If you guys heard Devin, who was a professional professional rugby player who still don't make enough for Nikki. He makes the most he can make is $250. He said he wants whoever he's with to be able to travel with him. Did you guys pick that up? Because I picked it up. And I know a lot of men that make that much money, and most of them want a woman that goes along with their schedule, right? And as opposed to two of us coming to the table making a whole lot of money. Men don't care about that. And if you want to date men, then you have to, if you want to catch chicken, you got to put down chicken bait, right? You got to catch, if you're looking to catch a man, you got to understand what they want. They don't care about that. Do they want a person that's, intelligent? Yes. Is it important what she makes if they make all the money? No. So you're not going to get points for that. And they also are not going to care about it being age appropriate, right? A lot of times men in that tax bracket, they'll date a woman who's a lot younger, right? So you just got to know, we just got to be realistic. It's not saying that Black women have to settle, because I definitely do not believe we have to settle. But I do think what Black women need to do is understand how to value a man, and valuing a man solely by his pockets is really stupid, because that money can be gone, or that money may not want you. Most importantly, the man with that money may not want you. And so we just need to get past this, right? But most importantly, she's an intelligent woman. You should know, coming on a reality show and asking a man of means to do that is going to be slim pickings. Now I'm going to get to Shawn, because he's also problematic. He is also problematic. Now, I don't like those. Okay, I don't want to talk about the fingers again. Yesterday, people got mad at me yesterday for talking about the fingers, but that is just a crazy photo right there. Yikes. Anyway, I don't think Shawn is a bad looking guy, right? I think that if you look at both of them here, he's actually he's an attractive guy. He is 5'6", but he's an attractive guy. She's obviously very beautiful and seems a little bit superficial. That also is not a great outfit okay. But she seems a little bit superficial, as we see coming up. But yeah, at 47, she's damn sure should know better, because where are the men making $250,000 that want a 47-year-old woman? Where are they? Because my friends and I looked for them for years. I found one making anyway. Yes, he is in his early 40s. But this is the thing with Shawn. This is my problem with him. He's 5'6". He's an overachiever, right? And I think that probably comes from having a bit of a Napoleon complex, right? He came to the altar, and I noticed that in his conversation when he first started, he mentioned that sometimes attraction isn't there in the beginning and it can grow. Then he contradicted himself, because he is full of shit. He is. This is why. He said that attraction can grow because he knew the possibility of her not being attracted to him was high. It was high. It was probable. He knew that because he mentioned, and sometimes attraction can grow, right? Then he goes, after they finish the vows, they go out and sit down, and he has the nerve, the audacity to say that he was dating other women that were 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10. And he said, no, I'm not going to settle. I want a 10 out of 10, and I got her, and you're here. And she was like, well, thank you. So how dare you come to the table knowing that you aren't necessarily the man with the 6 feet, 6 figures, and 6-pack. You got maybe one out of those 3, right? You damn sure don't have the 6 feet, and you damn sure don't have the 6-pack. And you're going to say that to you deserve a woman who is a 10 out of 10. And that just lets us know that your priorities are also messed up. I had a sneaky suspicion, because if you guys notice, when he was talking to Paul, he kept talking about the fact that he was naming things to make himself look good. Oh, I had Miss Black such and such, and I had Miss Black. She was the first Black, blah, blah, blah. You're using those women to make yourself feel good, right? You're using the women and trying to make yourself look good. Now, I understand being 5'6", he probably had a lot of women that counted him out. But as opposed to, if you have confidence, that's one thing. But using women to try to telling us what you've had before to make yourself look good is really lame. And it still says that you're not comfortable in your skin, because you're still focused on looks. And that's a problem for you, because if the other person is the same as you, if you are equally yoked, they're not going to like you. And that's exactly what he has gotten. He has someone who thinks like him, who wants a 10 out of 10, and you're not it. She's the 10 for her age. He's not. And I say for her age graciously, because I am at that same spot. And I know, but I also know that when dating, men and women have different dating things. I think that, as unfair as it seems that women don't always attract a man their age after a certain point in life, biologically speaking, I guess it does make sense, because women can't have children after a certain age, right? And men can have children up until they die. When they're about to go on the deathbed, they can still reproduce, right? Shawn hasn't had any children. We don't know if he wants children or not, but he obviously likes what he sees, and he's enamored with her. I don't know that some of the guys that she probably would be enamored with would be. I mean, she's a very beautiful woman. I'm not saying anything from that, but I'm saying her rating and what she is prioritizing, men her age don't prioritize, at least not in women. So Shawn being 5'6" and saying that he don't want nothing but a 10 physically, I'm sure that pissed her off, because if you notice when they were sitting there, it only brought up the reality of, well, I don't get the 10. You got a 10 in me, but I didn't get the 10 in you. I know she was thinking that, because you saw her looking at him like she couldn't relate to his conversation. And he's like, well, I knew that I wasn't going to settle. I got rid of everybody else because I had been settling. And she's thinking, I'm settling for you. Yikes. Yikes. So also, in addition to the fact that he's very superficial and likes to brag on how he can get these beautiful women, even though, whatever. What he's doing, because I know that he can tell that she's not as into him as he is into her. Remember, he said it in the vows, and we see them as they go to the wedding night. She's obviously trying to she's kind of cold. Also, before we get to the wedding night, did you guys see at the wedding when he went to get the garter? Cringe moment. Nikki is panicking. She is literally panicking. She's uncomfortable. She does not want him touching her. She's like, it's just the first day. She says that. And she's like, I mean, I have on a really short skirt. And he's like, thank you for giving me access. What she meant was, I don't want you down in between my legs because my skirt is short. My dress is short. He did not pick up on Nas signal. He just keeps moving forward. She did ask if it was a lap dance. She was uncomfortable. You guys could tell she was just like, and then he got the garter and then she was relieved, right? But he's not responding to her. He's probably thinking, oh, I can win her over. I will say he seemed very comfortable at the reception and, personable. He seemed like he could be a lot of fun. He's like dancing. He seems very, very comfortable. He seems to have a good group of friends. However, I do think it's important when you're in a situation like that to read the room. Like if she's uncomfortable, back off a little bit, right? I think he could have backed off. He kept asking her for a kiss. He asked her for a kiss. Right after that, she said, sure. When he's talking to his mentor, his uncle, that's like a mentor to him, and he's saying, asking him, should he take it slow? First of all, sir, you don't have a choice. That woman's not into you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. So you're asking him for help, and he's telling you it's better to take it slow because the uncle probably knew she ain't really into him. Everybody sitting there in the audience could tell that she was very disappointed when she realized that he was her groom. So I am concerned on why he's not picking up on the fact that she's not feeling him. They get to the wedding night, and he asks for another kiss. She says, not right now, right? And he comes back with a smart ass answer. So I'm like, oh, on top of being presumptuous, you gonna be a smart ass? Then I want to play this clip, because this is why I was like, you know what? Two things can be true. They have wasted somebody's spot, because there could have been another couple that could have fit this spot that would have been a much better fit. A couple that wasn't delusional. She's delusional about what's possible for her. And he is delusional as well, because his responses and how he's trying to make it, he's actually making it worse. He thinks he's making it better. He's actually making it worse. I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Feel like it could grow. Can we turn the heat on?
Yeah.
Behind you, right
can
there.
we? Yes, we can.
I'm cold. I'm chilly.
Oh, it's at 69.
Oh no.
Which is my favorite temp. Expectations for tonight.
Oh, okay.
What you trying to do? 69?
No.
I'm just kidding.
No. Nope.
I am fully teasing.
Are you?
Kidding.
Are
yes.
Okay, that was cringy. Like, first of all, you said it once. She's not slow. She got the joke. It's on 69, which is my favorite. Okay, let it go. Then he keeps pushing forward. What are you trying to do? 69. Like, who says that? That was so inappropriate. And I understand that he was just playing. I don't think he was serious, but it just, dude, no. Mm-mm. You know, I don't even know if it's because he's been drinking. I think he just doesn't read the room. He is not that. It was cringy, Jala. I was like, bleh, bleh. No, and not because he's not unattractive. He's actually personable, and he's got a cute face, but it's too soon, and it was just awkward. Like, who says that? Who says that? It's not going to break the tension. It's going to introduce new tension, more tension. Now I don't want to sleep here. Now I want to sleep on the sofa. So he did ask her if she was okay with them sleeping in the same bed. She said, yeah, but she said, this bed is big enough for you to be on your side, all the way on your side, and me be all the way on my side. Okay. He should have left it alone, but instead he keeps pushing. Oh, well, thank you for your generosity. You're going to do me the favor of sleeping with me. Like, he just, that made it more cringy. I don't even think it's giving male bestie vibes. It's giving male, I don't really want you around. You're weird. Again, I think he's an attractive guy. I think his personality is kind of becoming obnoxious. He's not a bad looking guy. I know a guy that looks like him, except he's taller, which probably made it better. But he's not a bad looking guy at all. And if you really are sapiosexual, that means that, and there are a lot of people, women, I don't know if men are, there are a lot of women that are, that means you can, conversation, stimulating conversation, intellect is where you get turned on, right? And there are a lot of women, not men, that can start to grow attraction, physical chemistry based on the conversation and the personality, the chemistry with personalities. But he's not going to do that at all. He's cringy, and the fact that he makes some smart ass jokes, that's the worst way. The best way he could have been, I think, if a woman is not attracted to you because of your height, and obviously we see in the teaser for episode 4 that she doesn't like the fact that he has a dad bod. She was like, I wasn't expecting to get a dad bod without the dad, which is diabolical and true. It's not going to work. He would have needed to actually just let go of some of the tension and stop trying to be funny and just be nice, because he came to the altar. I said, when you come on this show, you have to accept the possibility that maybe that person will not be attracted to you, and maybe you will not be attracted to that person. It's a 50-50 possibility of either one, right? So understanding that your partner may not be attracted to you, if you come on that show, that's something that you're willing to deal with, and you say, I'm willing to get to know this person and let them get to know me. The smart ass comments, it's given like you kind of hurt his feelings, because when she turned him down for a kiss, he was like, oh, excuse me, let the drama begin. Sorry, you started the drama by asking for a kiss every few minutes. Like, he was just she took her makeup off, and he made a joke about, oh, I'm gonna run now. And she was like, please, she's like, please, boy, this is the best you've had. She didn't say that, but that's the way she said, please, like, Negro, please. And then he was like, can I have a kiss? And she was like, no, not right now. And then he was like, oh, well, let the drama begin. Sir, no, don't do that. Just say, okay, and back off and let her get to know you. But that's not what Shawn is doing. So I started, because at the first sight at the altar, when she was like, I'm just waiting for my husband, and looking right at him, I was like, she's being a bitch. I do think she's going to be a bitch. I'm fully convinced. I have full confidence that she's going to be a bitch, but I also have full confidence that he's going to be one too. I'm sorry. I have full confidence that both of them are going to show their behinds. And but maybe that'll keep us locked in, and the rest of the people will do better. But they seem like the most problematic by far to me, because she has a cold personality. Nikki has a very cold personality, kind of matter of fact, comes off a bit stuck up, and Shawn has kind of like, I don't know, also a bitchy personality. Like, he gets mad when he doesn't get his way. Napoleon complex on 10. And it didn't have to be this way. It could, I think if she would have been open, or just stay off the show, right? Just say, you know what, this is a deal breaker, and height is a deal breaker too. Cool. And with Shawn, I think if you come to the table knowing or feeling like the woman that you want, since you got to have a 10, that 10 is not going to look at you and see 10 unless she's only focused on money. But why would you say, I want to have all, I want to have everything, I want to have 10s across the board, I'm not willing to settle on anything? That just drives the point home that you are not that. It's not good. That's my take on episode 3. I'm gonna give episode 3 a 7, maybe 7.5. I gave episode 1 a 7.5. I because I did like this episode. I'm just leaving room for growth, because I feel like we're gonna get into some good stuff with. I'm excited to see Paul and Lisa do group therapy, because each season we see the matchmakers put these people together, they get married, and they disappear. They leave them out. They leave them out to dry. I love the fact that they're actually going to be ongoing, at least from a couple of scenes we've seen. Hopefully they will do more therapy moving forward, because I think that they did a disservice to some people on this show. There were a couple of seasons where there were like racial issues, which was really unimportant, really irresponsible for them not to deal with and kind of touch on and provide a space for even the viewers to get to a better point. I just think there should be more therapy going forward. Hey, you there says they did that in the first season. They did, and I think that was a missing thing. There was a lot of situations where there were breakdowns, and then the experts wouldn't be around until like way after the drama had ensued. There was a girl that went crazy at the getaway, Michaela. Yeah, I remember. I mean, it's just been, and the experts just showed up way late, and Dr. Pepper had nothing. Pastor Cal had nothing either. So I think that doing group therapy where you can actually get to the bottom of some of this stuff, because at the very best, even if they don't leave married, they'll leave with an experience that helps them moving forward. I hope that for all the couples. Unfortunately, I don't necessarily see that happening for Nikki and Shawn, and I'm going to say that just on the edit that we have, but she seems so rigid. I don't know that she will be open to realize that part of the problem is her. And he does too. Like, sometimes I think that's the problem with seasoned daters, is that we tend to not think that we are the problem, right? And because you've been doing what you've been doing for 47 years, you've been getting the same results, but you still thinking it's everybody else, right? Same thing with him thinking that he just popcorn remix, sir. Okay, all right. I just saw someone that said they have all of it, the 6-pack, 6 feet, and 6 figures. Well, they said 6-pack, but I don't know, and they may airbrush it in or Photoshop it in, but that's not for me to say. But in any case, you guys, let me know what you think about this episode. Let me know what you think about Nikki and Shawn. Let me know if you agree with me, or if you agree with the beautiful influencer that I showed the video from earlier, who said that Nikki had she was perfectly within her right to ask for all the things, and that they should have found her a man that mirrored her. I do not agree. I agree with some of the things she said, but I just don't think that Equally Yoked is solely focused on money. In fact, I think money may be one of the least important things once you start looking at lifestyle and morals and character and integrity, and most importantly, who wants you? A man can be a millionaire and see you as a play toy, and a man can be be middle class and see you as his queen? Which one? Because you can be a millionaire's play toy or a working man's queen. Which do you want to do? I ask you, ladies, what makes sense to you? Let me know in the comments. Do you want to be a millionaire's play toy or a working man's queen? The choice is yours. You decide, but know what you want and know what you're willing to deal with before you put these stipulations in place and say this is what you want, you won't settle for less. Because a lot of women that do that end up being on the other side of a millionaire's string. And if you're okay with that, cool. Do you? But don't you got to play the game by the rules. You can't make up your own rules. So that's my point for tonight's show. I rated a 7.5. I would definitely rather be a working man's queen, because the funny thing is, if a man truly loves you, he's going to figure out how to take care of you. The one that doesn't want you, that doesn't really love you, is going to keep playing and probably eventually going to find someone else that he sees as a queen and dump you for her. So I think that should be our main focus. I'm not saying that you should be with someone that's totally in a different financial place, but I mean, asking for that, it just seems it's a bit much. It's a bit much, and it's going to equal the results that you're still getting. So anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I love you guys for watching. Next Saturday, I will do episode 4. So let's go through this. Let's go through this season. I'm excited. Next Monday, I think Rocky and I, and we may have another guest, are going to try to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. You guys know Wednesday, Scorpio Mo and I will be here for the Dating Diaries, and we have a really good story. He has a really good story. So tune in for that. And then Friday we'll be back. Next Friday, the 31st, we are doing a recap immediately after OWN's new show, Put a Ring on It, Cheat Hab. I'm actually talking to Stacey J this week, so I'll have that interview for you guys. She is the host on that show. She replaced Dr. Nicole that was on the show a few seasons ago, and she's a good friend of mine. You guys will love her. We're going to have a girl, Kiki, sit down, and I'll share that with you guys next week. All right, so I'll see you guys on Wednesday. And then if you are just watching Married at First Sight recaps, I'll see you back here on Saturday. All right, you guys have a great one. Get started to a great week, and I'll see you soon.